Hey guys, Adam and Christy here with E3 Firearms Association. What we're going to talk to you today about is a little bit about home preparedness, or just being prepared, having a plan in your home, specifically with firearms, and dealing with some type of emergency or threat type of situation. So let's get into that a little bit. It's important to understand that everybody's situation is different. Maybe you're living in an apartment by yourself. Maybe you've got kids. You're in a house, or you're in a condo, or you're in an inner city, or you're out in the sticks somewhere. All these type of variables are really going to cater to specifically what you're going to need and how you're going to plan and things like that.
Right.
So Christy and I, we have a couple kids, and we've got a home. We're kind of out there a little bit. So out there in the woods, that is. Maybe we're kind of out there too a little bit. Who knows? Yeah. So our situation is kind of specific to that. But bottom line, what you're going to need to have, whether you've gun staged or gear staged, things like that, is what's your plan.
Right.
What's your plan for what's going to happen if there's a bump in the middle of the night, there's a home invasion type of situation, somebody pulls in your driveway, things just don't feel right. You need to be prepared for that stuff and what you're going to do. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
So one thing I learned throughout my military career was a concept called defense in depth, and basically keeping that minimal explanation here is basically you're taking that outer ring of security and you're just kind of providing yourself extra layers. So if you have a long driveway, for example, how are you going to alert yourself that someone's coming down your driveway? It can be at night or during the day. Either way, you'd want to know before they're standing at your front door trying to sell you something or whatever, or prowler or whatever the case may be. So you can do things like driveway sensors, gates, perimeter fencing. So that would be an outer ring, and then you can bring it in closer and have things like cameras installed around your property, interior, exterior, things like alarm panels, actually whatever suits your needs. Obviously, if you're in an apartment or a condo, things like that may be a little harder to implement, but having something there can be a door alert system. They're very nominal, or like 10, 15 bucks, something to alert you, to give you a little bit of time to grab a firearm or something, or just to know that someone's there at your home or residence or office, whatever your situation may be.
Yeah, defense in depth is a great concept. It works, in large-scale military type of operations to in your home. It's basically just having multiple layers. You just don't have an alarm system and rely on that. That's your end-all, be-all. You've got the training, you've got firearms,
Right.
you've got closed-circuit television, you've got the alarm, you've got that gate. You've got multiple layers to protect you, and the hope there is, with those, you're mitigating any potential harm, and you're also trying to deter people,
Right.
so that visible rings of security. Oh, I see some cameras, I see a gate, I see, I see obviously there's an alarm in this place because there's that sticker, I can see all the windows locked. Just make yourself a hard target is really important.
Right, and sometimes I've even seen people that have dogs. You can have recordings of dogs that hit a sensor if you don't have a dog. I mean, that would sometimes people have a massive fear of animals. So just having something besides being woken up with someone standing over you in your bedroom, having a gun pointed at you, like just having some advance notice. And those are just maybe some measures you could take to kind of deter or to give yourself a little time or just awareness.
And in the home, specifically to firearms, if you're choosing firearms, obviously most likely for defense of your home, where are you going to keep those? And this is always kind of a compromise, especially if you got kids. Of what's there's a compromise between accessibility and safe. Safe meaning unwanted hands getting on your guns, whether that's somebody breaking in your home when you're not there and having immediate access to your guns, or your friend comes over with his kid, or just people in your home that shouldn't have access to your guns. You don't want to have access to your guns. So it's a compromise of accessibility, immediate accessibility in a situation versus keeping them secure. It's something your situation is going to drive and dictate how you do that. And then how many is enough? Do you need a gun in every room? Well, I don't know. Maybe parts of your home. I guess it's going to depend on how big
your house is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a studio apartment in a big city, probably one will do it in one strategic place, and most likely going to be good to go. But you got a bigger house, it's kind of spread out. Maybe you need some things spaced out appropriately. So certainly, I don't want you to cross in the line of prepared versus paranoid, because that's certainly easy to do. But being prepared is very important.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, for example, my home is a two-story home, so I know I would be vulnerable if I'm upstairs and I have no firearms upstairs. I mean, of course I do, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm preparing myself to know, okay, that's, if something happens while I'm upstairs, and there was a few years ago, there was an incident, there was a black bear trying to get in my garbage.
A really big bear.
Yeah. Huge bear, biggest bear I've ever seen in my life, in New Hampshire. But it, you know, it scared me to death, but I knew, like, you know, your automatic pilot, I mean, you just go, like, what gun do I grab? The closest one to me, that's the gun that I grabbed. You know what I mean? I was going to deal with, was this going to stop a bear if it came through? I don't know, but I knew that I had some option. But that's, you know, when we say staging your home, that's what we mean, like giving yourself options and kind of walking, what am I going to do if I'm in my kids' room and something happens, or what am I going to do first, or which gun am I going to grab if I'm in my kitchen cooking and something happens, you know, how am I going to get to this? So that's what we mean by staging your home, giving yourself a plan, working with what you have, and then timing yourself. I think that's important too, because a lot of people will keep their guns in their bedroom, in a closet. They'll keep the gun up here, then the ammo over here. I'm like, okay, if that's the way you choose to live, I want to challenge you to time yourself. If your alarm goes off or pretend someone's breaking down your door, tell me how long it takes you to go grab your gun that's locked up and you're trembling because you're freaking out because someone's coming through your home. Can you manipulate unlocking your alarm and then go and get your ammo and load your gun? I don't know, you tell me, like, I don't know, but tell me how long that takes you. So just know that you're vulnerable, and that would be a weakness for you if you had to grab your gun quickly.
Yeah, so it's really a big compromise there with accessibility versus, you know, keeping them secure. You know, some things to think about if you got combination locks or buttons and things like that, you know, just like Christy said, you know, timing yourself or practicing that, rehearsing it is great. You know, you rehearse things, you get proficient at it, so rehearsing, getting those things down, and kind of at a minimum talk through the event with if you have a significant other you're living with, you know, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, things like that. You got to kind of have a plan. You know, what's your plan of attack, so to speak, if something happens? If there's a bump in the middle of the night, we're both sound asleep on the bed, what are we doing? Who's doing what? Who's securing the kids? Who's grabbing the gun? Who's calling 911?
Right. Who's
doing what? That type of stuff is important, and you know, it just gets in it. There's so many specifics there about what your lifestyle is, how your home's set up, and what type of environment you live in is really going to drive that. And you know, just talking about what's the best gun for home defense, that is a whole separate subject in itself, what you'll hear from us at some point here soon. You know, that's a separate topic. But you know, bottom line, being prepared.
And yeah, and communication is key, and especially in a marriage, and we all know that it can either, you know, make or break you in a situation, a very stressful situation, if someone's breaking in your home. Or I mean, treat it like you would a fire drill. If your fire alarm goes off, like, you know what you're going to do. You hopefully have talked to your children about what to do. So let's do a firearms drill. Like, if something happens or alarm goes off in the middle of the night, like, I tell my kids, my oldest likes to run to the door and see who it is, or thinks it's Nana and Grandpa coming down the driveway. No, honey, it's not. You know what I mean? Let mommy and daddy see what's going on first. So have those talks, you know, what you want them to do if something happens, or if they hear something, or if the alarm goes off. Like, just have the communication, like, am I going to get the kids? Are you going to get the kids? Who's going to get the gun? Like, so just talk through it so you're not screaming at each other and making a stressful situation even more stressful because you're not sure what to do.
Yeah, so there you go. So there's some thoughts and tips on you know, protecting yourself, your loved ones in a home type of environment, whether that's an apartment or a house or wherever. You know, having that plan, having stuff staged, you're ready, and all that good stuff, and being situationally aware and prepared. In defense in depth, like Christy said from a military experience, that's a great concept to embrace. Having multiple layers. It's not just the gun that's going to protect you. You know, it's the alarm that's going to wake you up or notify you that you may need your gun. You know, or you know, something else, or closer television so you can see something happening. You know, so it's all those layers that are going to keep you safe. There's no one answer that's the end all be all.
Right.
So good discussion. Hey, make sure you get out there to e3firearmsassociation.com. Stay tuned for the latest videos, tips, and information on firearms tactics, training, all kinds of stuff out there. And what else are we doing?
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and like us, right? Don't forget to like us.
Like and share.